Mixture problems are good examples where you have to use a system of linear equations to solve them. So let's look at an example. Here we have a chemist who needs to mix a 20% acid solution with a 50% acid solution to obtain 60 ounces of a 30% acid solution. How many ounces of each solution must be used? Well, here's a picture. Let's let X be the amount of the 20% acid solution we need to find, and Y be the amount of 50%, because those are the two things the problem asks for. So here's our picture. We're going to mix X amount of our first solution with Y of our second solution to get 60 ounces of a 30% solution. So now that we have all the information simplified and all our variables defined, what we need to do now is come up with our two equations, since there are two unknowns that we need to find. So what are our two equations? Well, looking at the problem, we can see that since we're mixing X amount of the first and Y amount of the second to end up with 60, that one of our equations is right here in the picture. X plus Y must be equal to 60, since the amount in the two solutions has to be the amount of the total. But also we can balance the amount of acid. Since the first solution is 20% acid, 20% of X, or 0.2X, will be the amount of acid in the first solution. 0.5Y, or 50% of the second solution, will be the amount of acid. And since 30% of 60 is 18, there will be a total of 18 ounces in our final solution mix. So now that we have two equations and two unknowns, we can solve them. Let's get a clean sheet of paper and do the work. Here are the two equations we just developed. What we need to do now is either solve these with substitution or the elimination by addition method. Let's use the elimination by addition method. What we can do is bring our first equation over. X plus Y equals 60. In our second equation, if we multiply by -2, our Y terms will eliminate. So let's take our second equation and multiply on both sides by -2. This will give us a -0.4X, a minus Y, and a -36. Now when we add those two equations, our Y variable cancels. That's why we set it up in the first place to do -2. What we're left with is a 0.6X equals 24. So all we need to do to get X is divide by 0.6 on both sides. Doing so tells us that X equals 40. Since we know that X plus Y is 60, we know that Y has to be 20. So there's our solution. But what does it mean? Remember, the original question was to find how many ounces of each solution must be used. X was the amount of 20% solution, so we would say use 40 ounces of the 20%, and Y was the amount of the 50%. So what we'd say is that we need 20 ounces of the 50% solution. So here's our answer, that we needed to obtain 60 ounces of a 30% acid solution.